Welcome back, wrestling fans. Today we have assistant coach for Oklahoma, Cam Sykora. His Oklahoma's team is going to be featured prominently in the recruiting rankings that you're probably going to look at either later today or earlier. Somewhere along the way, you're going to see these recruiting rankings, and Oklahoma is going to be featured very prominently. So, Cam, thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Earl.
All right, so I'm just looking back at last year. I can imagine that it was a crazy time a year ago. Um, Coach Kitch was hired right at the beginning of May. It looks like you were at least announced almost a year to the day as being an assistant here at Oklahoma. So, um, what kind of whirlwind were you going through about a year ago? Because, I imagine you're re-recruiting the guys that are existing on the team and then maybe securing a couple of the 23 signees that were already there. How much different is it today than a year ago?
Absolutely. No, my life has slowed down a lot over compared to last year. Definitely was a whirlwind of a time moving from Fargo, North Dakota, where I grew up about an hour away and moving down to Oklahoma, taking a leap with Coach Kish, leaving a program that I know very well. Obviously, I'm an alumni at North Dakota State. Obviously means a lot to me, but I'm excited to be in Oklahoma. And yeah, it was crazy time of the year. When we got to Oklahoma, it was the one good thing that I noticed right away is there was still a ton of really, really good Oklahoma kids on the board for the class of 24. So that's kind of where we just dove in right away, try to get as many Oklahoma kids as we can. And that's going to be our approach. We want the best kids in Norman. So.
All right. So, from an intangible sense, this class, it's, as you mentioned, the first full one for you guys. How important is it, more so than wins and losses? I mean, they're obviously going to be important as well, but laying a foundation, setting the tone for teams of Oklahoma for years to come.
Absolutely. No, that was definitely the biggest thing when we got here, just bringing our philosophy into the room, our culture, what we're kind of going to expect from the guys. And we want to win in all three phases. We want to win on the mat. We want to win in the classroom. And we want to win culturally as well. I think one of the biggest things that we accomplished right away was having the highest GPA in program history in the first semester. So just laying that foundation that academics are going to be very, very important to us. And luckily, when we got here, there was some talent on this team. You got guys like Stephen Buchanan, Josh Heinzelman, Moshe Schwartz, who are all phenomenal leaders. And we're excited to welcome all those guys back next year to kind of help this first class as they transition to campus. It's funny, we're having this interview today, and 11 of them just moved to campus on Saturday. So we're starting to get them, see them into the room a little bit, getting through this week. Definitely exciting times here in Norman. So.
Wow, I can imagine. So, you mentioned Coach Kish, and you come over from North Dakota State. You're an alum, so I'm not trying to speak negatively, but I'm sure there's a difference for you on the recruiting trail when you're saying Oklahoma as opposed to almost any other school. The huge brand name. Big 12, maybe you don't know about affiliate members if you're not that big of a fan, but yeah, getting in the door with Oklahoma has to be, much easier for you.
Absolutely. No, 100%. That's one thing I noticed right away. And actually, Coach Marsden, Austin Marsden, came down with us as well. As when you wear this OU logo on your chest and you walk in somewhere, people are going to recognize you, whether it's in the airport, someone saying Boomer, you yell back Sooner, Adam. So it's a national wide brand and people recognize that right away. And Norman's just an awesome place to be. It's a college town and you're only 20 minutes away from a metropolitan area, Oklahoma City. So you kind of get the best of both worlds living in that small college town. And then if you're a metropolitan guy that wants to go to Top Golf or go catch an Oklahoma City Thunder game, you have those amenities as well. So hunting and fishing right here in Norman on a gravel road mile out of town. So that's my favorite thing. It reminds me a lot of back home too. And there's always something to do. So.
So the class in itself is huge, and you're going to have guys from different backgrounds, different styles, different all sorts of different makeups. But just as a whole, what can you say about maybe the one trait that all of these guys possess that drew you to them?
Absolutely. No, the one thing I would say with the most of these guys, and if not all of them, they're very, very competitive. They've won at every level. Some blossom later in their college career. Some blossom maybe a little earlier on, and then maybe kind of plateaued or stayed the same a little bit. But every one of these guys is a competitor. They've seen success at the high school level, and once we kind of start getting them into our room, and the cool thing is what I was speaking about earlier, a lot of these kids are Oklahoma kids, and they're in that RTC window. So we on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. we run our RTC. So we've gotten our hands on a lot of these kids, and we know what we're getting ourselves into. And maybe some of these guys that aren't the blue chip guys in our class, they're going to make a name for themselves right away. So we're excited. We think we hit the nail on the head with a few of these under the radar prospects, and I think we definitely hit the ball out of the park with some of these blue chip guys.
Yeah, and I was wondering, I've been tracking some of as the recruiting rankings, get updated, big boards. There are quite a few guys that, started down here and then, made their way up. I imagine, from the coaching standpoint, you get these guys signed early and then you're watching that. And I'm sure that has to make you kind of feel good inside, like, yeah, that's kind of what we thought we saw.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, you don't get them all. Some of them that we were in, but right to the very end, you can't get them all. But no, it's really cool to see a guy like Alex Braun, who I was college teammates with his brother, really blossom throughout his senior year, beating some of the best guys in the country. And a good friend of mine is his club coach, Dakota Trump. So just seeing awesome work that he's doing with a guy like Alex. Another guy, probably under the radar, Anders Thompson out of Montana, kind of a region that we recruited well. In North Dakota, we've had a lot of success in Montana, and just kind of seeing him take off. Not a lot of people knew about him till Super 32s, and he's going to be an awesome fit here. Those guys.
Yeah, you mentioned Alex, him and Barrick Jordan. They went to the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic. They were selected to participate all-star match, and both of them were probably two of the bigger standouts from the event. What can you say about seeing those guys against really good competition in a featured match like that?
Absolutely. I think the thing with Barrick Jordan is he's just a winner. He's a competitor, and he's going to wrestle really, really hard for 6 or 7 minutes, however long it takes to get his hand raised. Maybe it's not the prettiest wrestling sometimes, but he always finds a way to get his hand raised, and he's been doing it from a very young age. So that's what I expect out of Barrick. Obviously, he lives in Noble, about 15 minutes down the road, so he's in the RTC every Tuesday and Thursday. So I've gotten to wrestle with him quite a bit, and that's just what I expect from that young man. He holds himself to a high standard, and we expect some really, really big things from him after his redshirt year here at Oklahoma. And then a guy like Alex, I mean, that's just Alex. He's going to put you in some weird wrestling positions, and usually he's going to find a way to come out on top. If you wanna go from position to position and chain wrestle with Alex Braun, you're probably going to be in trouble towards the end because he's going to find a way to put you on your back.
So you mentioned Oklahoma kids quite a few times. I have no idea whether this is an actual thing, but for message board people and just fans, for years and years before you guys took over, um, there's been a thing. Oh, well, you can't go head to head with Oklahoma State with in-state kids. But again, looking at this list of guys you've signed up and down, the Barrick Jordans, Stillwater and Bixby and Edmond North, it's only going to get, more competitive as well with, the new staff there. But obviously, you guys, that's something you've wanted to do right away is get these in-state kids and not shy away from Oklahoma State.
For sure. No, that's what we want to instill in our guys is we're gonna go to war and we're gonna battle no matter what the singlet is. And we're gonna do the same thing on the recruiting trail. We're not afraid of a battle. We know we're gonna be up against some. And at the end of the day, we have an Oklahoma legend in our staff too, Tion Ware. Everyone knows Tion, four-time All-American, two-time national champ, world team member. So he knows everyone, and Tion's a world-class technician, and he's got deep ties to the state. So that was probably one of the easiest transitions right away, just having Tion introduce us to everyone, whether it's a high school coach, the youth level coaches, and just kind of working from there. And at the end of the day, we're going to work our butts off to build great relationships like we've done this past year with every coach in the state. And if they choose to come to Oklahoma, we'll be happy because we know it's for the right reasons.
In before we started talking or taping, we're talking about how there's no real off season, and you're talking about bringing the 11 freshmen in already. Um, are you able to sit back and kind of catch your breath as you're seeing the big board rankings come up and see you've got the most big borders of any team in the country, and we're going to have our rankings come out tomorrow, and you're going to be featured very prominently. So, um, are you and the staff at Holt able to sit down and say, job well done? We got a ton of these guys we targeted.
For sure. I think maybe in our weekly Monday meeting, next week, maybe we'll give each other a high five, but no, it's right back to it. I just got back from California. I'm doing a home visit, late last week. So Mark Hall's, brand new to our staff. So getting him around the guys and making sure he's got everything he needs. So no, we're busy. June 15th is approaching, and we're excited to hopefully put another great class together in 2026 to go along with our 2024 and 2025 classes.
Yeah, and that's actually what I wanted to get into because um, there's already 2025 kids, quite a few of them we can't talk about right now. But then you mentioned 26 coming up a couple of days from now. You'll be able to speak with them officially. So I assume that's something you're really looking forward to, and the rest of the staff is, this time of year.
Absolutely. No, making sure at the end of the day, it's a little crazy trying to collect all these numbers. Trying not to do it last minute, but making sure everyone's got their lists, everyone's ready to go. Talking to anyone that we need to talk to. And yeah, no, this is a super exciting time, and we're excited to go after our targets and get the guys that we want to get.
All right, and you mentioned big class, a lot of guys coming in already. And then you also said there is a lot of existing talent on the team. I looking ahead to the upcoming season, you're probably in a pretty good place where you're not going to be forced to throw out 3, 4 true freshmen if you don't have to. If they stand out and they're the guy, then maybe you can, but you're in a good position where you can let them develop and take some time if they need it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that going into this year, we're in a way better spot depth wise. Obviously, during the transition, there was a lot of the original Oklahoma commits that chose to go out, elsewhere, which is totally fine. Respect that. So, it'll be nice to actually have a true freshman class get on campus. If they need to step in, they can step in. But I mean, we're probably gonna have 5, 6, 6-year seniors in our lineup next year. So I'm excited. These guys are gonna probably get to sit back, learn, and just get to learn from a lot of these high level guys. And what's nice is they get those 5 dates as well. So we'll have an opportunity to probably slip a lot of these guys into the lineup at some point.
Yeah, I love that rule change, and that's an added fun element seeing the true freshmen maybe step in for a couple matches here and there. So um, that is all that I had for you. Is there anything else that you want people to know about Oklahoma wrestling, recruiting, class of 24, anything in general?
No, no, we're having some fun down here in Norman, and we're building, and we're excited to kind of see where this thing goes, and we're gonna have something special on the mat here very, very soon.
All right. A big thanks to Cam Sykora for joining us to talk Oklahoma wrestling class of 2024.